Welcome back to the Financial Times. BP has just reported full-year results. The oil company has announced a loss of $5 billion after the Gulf of Mexico oil spill. That's its first annual loss since 1992. But BP has resumed its dividends payouts. Well, joining me now to talk about it is our energy editor, Sylvia Pfeifer. Sylvia, let's just put this set of results in the context of the oil spill disaster BP incurred in the Gulf of Mexico. With that in mind, is this bad? It sounds bad, but just how bad is it?
It's not great. I mean, I think reporting the first annual loss for the past 2 decades is not a statistic that Bob Dudley, BP's chief executive, will want to be remembered for. Arguably, it's not a surprise. I mean, the company had already announced it was taking a pre-tax charge hit of $40 billion almost for the Gulf of Mexico spill. That's why the loss of $4.9 billion. If you take away that extra charge, they've actually made a profit of $4.4 billion for the fourth quarter, slightly below analyst expectations. So the loss is not a surprise, not a great statistic, but not a surprise. The dividend payment is also obviously welcome relief for investors and shareholders and pensioners in the UK. The company's resuming payments at 7 cents a share, which is half the previous level. BP was saying this morning that they think this is the right time to reinstate it, and it's the right level. It still gives them some flexibility in terms of its finances going forward.
Now, BP is also set to sell its troubled refinery in Texas City. Why is it doing this? Is this part of a changing strategy in the United States by BP?
We'll have to wait and see. I think that is one of the surprise bits in the announcement. Texas City, if you remember, was rocked by an explosion in 2005, which killed 15 people. So it's got a troubled history, and it, in terms of BP's safety record, it was a blemish on BP's reputation on that front. BP is saying this morning that the Texas City refinery and the Carson refinery that it's also selling is as part of a move of reducing its US refining capacity. They're saying those 2 refineries are not integrated into the rest of their refining and marketing business. What is interesting is that once they do those disposals, BP will be the sort of smallest refiner of all the integrated oil majors. So they're not splitting up refining and exploration, but they're kind of going as far as you can without actually splitting up. I think it's part of their sort of continued focus on upstream exploration and production. That's where BP is going to go in the future.
Now, Bob Dudley, BP's chief executive, is hosting a strategy update later today, which I understand you'll be watching. What do you expect him to say? He won't want to be remembered as the man who led BP to its first significant loss in 2 decades. What do you expect him to actually say?
I think 2 things. One, he'll talk a little bit. He'll talk a lot about safety again. He needs to sort of reassure investors, politicians, other people that BP really is going to focus on safety going forward. They can't really afford to have another accident like the Deepwater Horizon spill in the US. Secondly, in terms of strategy, I think he will make the point that BP is going to be a smaller company. I mean, its production is going to be less this year than last year, but it'll be more focused on exploration. They're going to try and access countries which have large basins of oil and gas. Their recent deal in Russia with Rosneft, the Russian state oil company, will be a highlight of that, which he'll address. So that's going to be BP's focus: is where can they go into areas which have got lots of oil and gas, and kind of grow from a smaller base, or possibly grow faster going forward.
Okay, well, Sylvia, thank you very much indeed. Now you can follow all the latest on BP at ft.com/energy.